All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have race number 5 of the Area 51 IndyCar Series here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. It will be 150 laps this evening at the 1.5 mile oval, which rumors are that it may be coming back in the real life as well. So I have no insights on that one, but I've heard the rumors, and I'll say if they listen to me, I think it'd be a fun one to bring back on. I'll say it's a really fun track, nice and abrasive surface, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun here tonight with these guys as well. Qualifying going on as we speak, and we talked about last week was the points. It was kind of the Edson and Chris Stouffer show, but I was mentioning watch out for that Craig Forsyth fella, and he listened and he went ahead and got the win last week at Gateway, which has propelled him into the points lead by 10 over Edson Santos. Matt Wagner jumped a spot into third, Jeff Heisong in fourth. Unfortunately, Stouffer falling to fifth with his difficulties. So we'll see if he can climb himself back up a little bit. But showing about 25 drivers in the field here tonight. So a really great showing. And yeah, we're going to see what these guys have in store. I will be rolling solo this evening because some fella decided that he wants to also do some open wheel racing, as he's going to be taking part in the Kart World Championship. So big, first off, congrats to even being in that position, and also good luck, Andrew. I hope you have a great time over there, and yeah, look forward to hearing about your experience, and hopefully also some good results for you as well over there. So yeah, really cool that the stuff that these guys do, and again, just kind of turning some of the, you'll see people in iRacing who are do actual racing, some of course on the higher up side, on the official, I guess you could say, like iRacing, like you got the NASCAR drivers, some IndyCar drivers, F1, kind of, you'll see them from time to time. And then yeah, like I said, then there's drivers that are kind of trying to work themselves up the ranks, and like I said, Andrew, in the karting side of things as well. So really cool to see, and just kind of shows, you'll see a lot of just that kind of stuff everywhere, from the range of things like that to just people want to get away from their day-to-day and goof off and have some fun. So yeah, really cool to see. And right now on the qualifying front, it looks like we've had 10 drivers put a lap in as we speak, but still I'm seeing a bunch of cars on track, so we still got a little bit of time to go there. And so while we have some time, I'm going to go spy on our schedule, let you know what is coming up. I believe we will be having an off week for pretty much all the series here this upcoming week, as we are, tonight is the 22nd. So yeah, we will be off next week for July 29th, and we'll be back on August 5th at Watkins Glen, and then another quick off week until we jump over to Auto Club on August 19th, and that'll finish off the first half of the season. Then we jump over to the second half of the season, which will begin at the Milwaukee Mile, then over to Twin Ring Motegi, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Michigan International Speedway, and then New Hampshire Motor Speedway, or Loudon, Las Vegas for the second to last race, and then the season finale at Indianapolis, 500K, so not full 500 miles, but 500 kilometers, and it'll be a basically a 2x points finale, or a double points race. So whatever the points you get for a win over here normally, be a little bit more over there. So depending on what the points look like, that could be a very big race to see who will come out on top with the championship this season. All right, I mentioned about 10 cars putting laps in. We're up to about 19 now having a lap on the board. So we're going to see again how the stats continue to go up to 20 now. And it's, once again, it's tight. I mean, I won't give spoilers on the names of drivers, but I'm seeing an 07, then we got 2507, 2511, 13, 15, 16, 17. Add a 14 in the mix. This just popped onto the screen. So laps are coming in pretty quickly here, and they are all within just hundredths, if not thousandths of a second of one another here. However, it looks like that is going to complete qualifying for tonight. So once we get the session switched over, we will pull up that starting grid for this evening's event. Alright, so let's go ahead and show off our drivers here and show off our starting grid for the evening. Alright, here we go. Our grid for tonight is going to start off with the front row of Edson Santos, and it is going to be Will Stearns alongside of him in row number 1. Row number 2 is going to be Matt Wagner, Ryan Kelly there. Great qualifying spot for Ryan there in the top 2, or top 2 rows, I should say. Craig Forsyth, last week winner, in 5th. Jeff Heisong there in 6th next to him. They got Jim Herrick and AJ Hobson 7th and 8th. Larry Yingling as well in the top 10 there in the number 67 car in 9th. Charles Teed rounding out our top 10. You got Eric Schaus and Sam Cosner sitting in 11th and 12th positions. Running down the order there, you've got then Eric Peterson in 13th, Gary Laverne in 14th, Wayne Camel, Chris Giroux, they're separated by 1/1000th of a second. Shane Coker and Frank Irwin Jr. there 17th, 18th. Hugo Galaz, Bill Burrell there are top 20. And then you have some drivers opting not to put down a qualifying lap this evening, starting with Daniel Durazo in that number 2 car. Chris Stouffer next to him. We'll see. Chris is always one to watch climbing through the field, so he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight as well. Then you got Joseph Morales there in 23rd, John Borst in 24th, and then starting shotgun on the field tonight will be the number 31 of Bill Cawley. Looks like we've got just about the full grid here lined up, and we will start the warm-up lap in just a moment. I see Edson just popping into frame looking for Chris Stouffer, and actually not seeing Stouffer in the grid here, so we'll see if he maybe starts from the pits or if maybe some hardware issues. Unfortunately, it's one of those things I can't really see all of what's going on because I got to kind of hide some stuff for myself, so you don't see everything I see. And again, as we see, the field's going to roll off here just a little bit delayed off the pace car. Again, just to allow for that leader to control the starts and the restarts here that we've talked about pretty much all season long. So basically what that means is Edson will be the control car, and so expect to see him get going somewhere between turn 3 and 4. And then from there, we will be underway again. 150 laps, no green, white checkers, 1 fast repair available for these drivers, and a very quick 1.5 mile oval where these drivers, again, I think up front, you're going to pretty much see them painting the white line on the bottom. But again, over time, that might put a little bit too much heat on the right front tire. That might open the opportunity for the outside lane to make some magic happen. And that's what we're going to kind of have to wait and see, and kind of see what the right strategy is for these drivers and who's going to make the most of it as these guys come through the slightly curved backstretch here at Chicagoland. All right, pace car is off. It is in the hands of that number 20 of Edson Santos. As they come through forward, there he goes. They are down and away, as green flag is out here tonight at Chicagoland. Edson gets a nice little charge there on the inside lane. He's going to be able to stay in front of Will. Will's going to just get a nose ahead of Matt Wagner there in 3rd, as everybody's going to start to build up speed here for the first time through turns 1 and 2. Again, still trying to build up some temperature, build heat in those tires, as Edson, again, like we talked about, going to protect that inside line. So this is where dirty air and the cold tires will come into play. So far, so good. Looks like everybody able to get through lap 1 unscathed. I am showing Stouffer being out in the timing and scoring, so unfortunate to say Stouffer was definitely one that I know we'd all be keeping an eye on, but at the moment, though, he is not showing on the track, showing out on the timing and scoring, as we got 3 wide here for that 2nd spot. Matt Wagner trying to get around Will Stearns. Up on the outside is Ryan Kelly trying to rim right it there, but he's going to get a little bit of a face of dirty air there from Will Stearns as I say that, and that's going to cost him a ton of momentum. And unfortunately, that's going to see there open up the door for Craig Forsyth now down on the inside line. And Craig's going to now move himself up into 3rd, it looks like here. But you can see right now, though, I mean, it's a traffic jam. But they said we got contact Schaus and Jim Herrick, I believe. And you can see the cars are just literally stuck together right here. And so far they stay straight, but this is iRacing netcode at its finest here, unfortunately, as these guys just trying to find a way to get unhooked off each other. And yeah, you can see there's the caution is out. Finally get unhooked from one another, and we're going to have the yellow. They'll get rolling here, but again, talk about the one faster pair. You can see the broken left front on Jim Herrick's car. Eric Schaus might be able to risk getting away with just taking a front wing. We'll have to wait and see for him in that 72 Hot Wheels car, but that's probably the best example of netcode I could have shown you there. You can see there is I saw a little crinkle on that and the side plate there on the 72 car, but let's go back here. And I was about to mention that it's pretty much these guys are just completely stuck up against each other, literally and figuratively in this sense. But we'll watch the 72 car here. And what I was about to mention as this happened was you're in just basically this giant traffic jam. Oh yeah, a lot of netcode there between the two of them. There was definitely no contact, but iRacing deemed there was. And then you can see they just kind of get stuck into each other, and there's nothing they can do. You can see the 72 kind of just ramping a little bit off the tire there of Jim Herrick as well. Jim's car going with a four-wheel slide, just again, nothing they can do, even bouncing off the wall, still couldn't get the separation. So yeah, so just a really tough break for the both of them, because again, there was not going to be any contact prior to that. But yeah, and it took all the way from the front stretch into turn one before that contact, before they were able to actually get released off each other. So we'll watch Eric here. We'll see on the faster pair side of things if he's going to go ahead. Yep, so there's a faster pair taken for the 72. We know for sure Herrick is going to have to do the same in his number 40 car. We'll try to find him eventually. One of these camera angles is going to show him. Well, in theory, there he is. And saying with that broken front end, he can't get that car rotated around. So he's trying to find a way to get in as well. So, but yeah, they don't want us. There's Jim Herrick. So they didn't want us to see him. But he's finally got his car down and serviced, and then he'll be able to continue on his way as well. So up front, it is still going to be Edson Santos, our leader. Strategy-wise, we did have a couple pitters. Wayne Campbell, the first of those to come off of pit road. And right now it's only down 3 spots from where he started, so really not a big net loss there. One of the drivers that did come in early, or that came in as well, that does lose a handful of track position is Larry Yingling, showing about 9 spots down in that 67 car. And then also Frank Irwin Jr. has pitted as well in that number 44. And then John Borst as well, and Jim Herrick, of course, we just mentioned. And then a couple drivers topping off here as well are going to be Eric Schaus, Joseph Morales, and Bill Cawley. Those three opting to just put that little teeny bit extra in the tank there, as we're going to get back to green this time around. Again, Edson building that gap to the pace car. You can see him down in the background. And so didn't have a chance to mention fuel window. Hearing about 38 laps full rich. Of course, with this caution now, this will probably bring that number closer to the 40, 41 mark, maybe even 42. Now, for those guys that maybe save, or that topped off here, maybe if they can go fuel save, could someone cut a pit stop out of this race and maybe turn it into a 2-stop race? So strategy could come into play here. You never know what kind of crazy fuel numbers these guys can pull. And so we'll see right now those. It's going to be Edson here as they come through 3 and 4. Again, he is our control car. So Matt's now just got to wait for Edson to make his move, and there he goes. And now again, we'll watch towards the back here. A little bit of an accordion here. Everybody's having to react. There's Peterson having to jump down to avoid contact. Daniel Durazo peeking to the outside, but so far, just that one little hiccup, but so far so good. Looks like we're going to get through clean. Like I said, but Peterson was definitely one that had a tough spot there. Looks like we are good to go, though, as he has gotten, it looks like, around that number 00 of Sam Cosner. Daniel's going to follow along as well. And up front, it's still going to be Edson Santos leading the way here to start lap number 9 of 150. So look out the back of that number 20 Leaner Energy machine, as Edson's going to have to, again, like I said, I think for Edson, he's just pretty much going to live on this white line here. I'll be curious to see what Matt does, what Craig does. if any of them are going to try to maybe make a move around, maybe get a lap led in this race or not. But I think what's going to happen here shortly is exactly what we're seeing up in that top side. I think that may be Will Stearns. Is eventually you're going to see enough cars on the inside lane. You're like, man, this is just a train going on down here. I could probably gain some spots if I jump top. And so I think that's what we're seeing from Will Stearns, from Ryan Kelly in there. Also got to give some love to AJ Hobson back in the field. Always good to have AJ here. Definitely one that we are very familiar with the Area 51 IndyCar League. So AJ making an appearance tonight as well. And I'd say definitely will be one to watch as well, even if it's the initial race for him this season. I believe it is. I'd have to check the notes. But yeah, really cool to see AJ in the mix here as well. So right now we got about the top 13 all just locked onto each other, kind of that pack race we talked about. About a half second back, Shane Coker there in the 32 car. Chris Chabot right behind him. Then a pretty big gap here to Wayne Campbell in the 42. And he was one that did pit on lap 5. Is this maybe some fuel strategy where he says, I don't want to be running as fast as those guys? The problem is he is now 1.7 seconds off. And so I think someone's going to have to blink. And I think Frank is saying that as well. He said, we can't lose the draft. Oh, we saw Bill Burrell there catch the wall just a little bit out of turn 4. Trying to look to see if he's going to get away with almost contact there as he kind of cut down just a little bit. Almost catch the side of John Borst. Luckily, no contact there, but very, very close call indeed. And then another group a little further back are these guys here, Joseph Morales, Eric Schaus, Bill Colley. But what I can tell you, though, is with Frank Irwin Jr., though, he's cranked that whip up, and he has actually got these guys back into the draft to Shane Coker. But again, though, for Frank and for probably most of these guys, probably has burnt a chunk of fuel getting them back up there. So, again, not what they want to do on the fuel side of things, but I'll say again, kind of a necessary evil to just get back into the draft. So that's going to be a big story, I think, tonight, depending on if and when cautions fall, is going to be that fuel strategy for some of these guys that topped off, that don't top off. And like I said, right now, as it stands, I'm going to say Edson probably will be the first car to hit pit road as we start lap number 15. But again, probably another 25 laps or so. I'd say probably, again, lap 40 at the soonest. I expect to see that 20 in, but right now you can see we've pretty much got about a 200 plus mile an hour pace laps going, because we got the inside line, we got the outside line, and right now it's kind of where people are stuck at the moment. Maybe a little bit of strategy as well, but right now you can see just not a ton of ability to do anything too crazy as of yet. The other thing to mention, of course, right now is tires are still relatively fresh. So the one thing that Edson's got going for him is he's got zero pressure behind him. So he doesn't have to worry about trying to pinch it to the inside or anything like that. He can drift it up a little bit. As we're going to go 3 wide, though, Ryan Kelly's going to get to the top here. He's got Will Stearns to his inside. Charles Teed's going to stay in that middle lane. Again, can't really do any bump drafting in these cars. So right now it's just going to be kind of who can get the momentum and kind of keep that car foot to the floor and keep them kind of feel comfortable with it. And you can see Ryan is just going to clear across the 306 there, and he'll now lead that middle lane here. Charles Teed trying to follow along as well. And you see Craig there just drifting up a teeny bit off of Matt there, trying to get a little bit of clean air on that front wing. And that's what's going to be happening for these guys a little further back, is lots of dirty air, but it's also going to mean a lot of fuel saving. So one driver I am watching right now is Jeff Heisong in that Bluey machine. Let's hop on board with him here. And you can see he's just going to pretty much be rolling. You can see rolls out of throttle. You can see the revs drop. Unfortunately, obviously can't see the throttle trace, but probably plenty of lifting as well. Probably even lifting through the straightaways as well here. And you can see where he is on track there. He can kind of track it out a little bit to the middle groove, then bring it back down in here. Just, again, avoiding abuse on those right front tire especially. And so really like where Jeff is here on track. Good track position, but also not anybody right on his gearbox, and he's got some space in front of him, so he's able to just kind of play nice right now and work his magic and try to keep those fuel numbers in check. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye and see how that progresses through the race. And like I said, now we have the top 21 all in this main pack, and then the other drivers, Joseph Morales, Eric Schaus, and Bill Colley, they're about 3 seconds back. And so again, this is probably one of those ones, do not save fuel. You just go full map one, try to get back up to them. Pace-wise, last time by, Joseph was about a 10th.5 quicker than Edson, a 50 to a 63. So it is starting to go the right way slightly for Joseph there, along with Eric and Bill. So then we jump around, try to find some drivers we haven't chatted about tonight. Right now, the furthest up who's made the most, one of the highest climbers that's furthest up is Charles Teed in that number 50 car. He's up 6 positions from where he started at the moment. He's that second car up top behind Ryan Kelly. And then just a little further back there, one of those ones we noted earlier, Daniel Durazo in that 2. He is up 11 spots in the number 2. And again, Daniel's one of those guys we've talked about week in and week out where it's not the pace that's the issue for him. It's just the being able to have something at the end of the race where he'll be in a prime position for a podium, even going for a win. And just unfortunately, it seems like more often than not, when he's in that position, there's going to be a wreck that winds up taking him out of contention. So I think for Daniel, if he can get a solid, I'd say even just top 5 result without kind of getting wrecked at the end, that's going to be a good step in the right direction for him. And he saw right there, he saw just enough opening there. He's going to sneak in front of Gary Laverne, get down to that engine and being in a spot where they can get to pit road. And then also looking back again, lap times, Joseph Morales, you can see in the timing and scoring, he has gotten to within about 4 seconds of a leader. And importantly, down to about 2 seconds off of Wayne Campbell in that 42 car. So that's his job number 1 right now, is to catch the back of the field and then be able to try to pit with the lead pack. And again, those guys, same thing as Edson, they're going to be burning all the fuel. So right now, like I said, worst fuel mileage for sure is going to be Edson. Probably Ryan Kelly in that boat now as well, leading that top line. And then definitely Joseph Morales as well there, leading that second pack. So those are going to be kind of the 3 groups we have right now. Hugo Galaz, also a good start for him. He is up 8 spots in that number 57. You can see him on the outside line, that white and orange machine, right behind Eric Peterson in that number 36 car. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. And looking for those involved in the incident, Jim Herrick, haven't talked about him yet since then. He is still in the main pack. Eric Schaus is not. We talked about that. But Jim right now still in the top 15, just rolling that top side as well. Right now, he is the highest running driver that did pit on that lap 5 caution. And of course, for those that are watching and tuning in, first off, of course, thank you for watching. Always appreciate you guys checking in. And again, if there's any drivers you want updates on that you want to kind of, hey, where are they at? Just give them a little bit of extra love, by all means, please feel free to chime in on the YouTube chat. Always love to try to get a little bit more that I can for you all. As a little bit of bobble there, looked like on that outside lane. But yeah, right now though, everybody's still hanging tight here. A little, I'm gonna say a lot of separation, but a little further back here, right after Larry Yingling, Shane Coker's a couple tenths back. John Borst is still pretty tight on Shane. But here you go. Look at Joseph. Look at Eric. Look at Bill. They have got back to the pack, and that's going to be a huge sigh of relief. They know the fuel number is going to hurt a little bit, but pitting with the lead pack versus pitting seconds behind, they're going to take that hit. That's definitely worth the gamble. And again, this is going to be a big thing too, is pit stops again, because we're probably about 10 away now. This isn't like some of the tracks where you have to pit on turn number 3. You guys, the drivers here, they can pit entering turn 4, coming off the banking. So basically right there, you see the drivers make that sharp left, and they're going to have to slow down to do so. So everybody's going to have to be on their toes. They need to be on their comms saying, hey, I'm pitting this time. And then drivers are going to have to be able to move around. So maybe the outside line goes to the wall. Inside line gets the middle lane just to try to avoid any troubles. So that's where I'd say, for me, that's where the biggest question mark is going to be, because, again, the guys up front, they're burning the most fuel. They're going to have to slow down in front of the field, and it's a very terrifying situation to be in. It's, again, we talk about these cars, they do not like banking transitions, so they got to go from the banking here to the flat on the apron while going about 180 plus, I would say, as they start to slow. And yeah, that's where drivers are going to have to really be on top of things here. Drivers like Ryan Kelly, he's going to have to find a way down now. See if he can either jump ahead of somebody or maybe find somebody that's going to open up a gap for him in the next, I would say, maybe 5 laps, I think, for him to feel comfortable get ready to start trying to get to that inside line. Maybe Craig will cut him some slack, or if he can clear Matt and drop his way down. But right now, like I said, he's still kind of pinned to that outside line. And yeah, I think right now that inside line's probably the place to be, especially if you're the second car like Matt Wagner, Craig Forsyth. We had mentioned AJ Hobson earlier, because they're running the inside line. They're further up the running order, and they're able to save that fuel. So that's going to be, again, that's what I'm going to be watching to see how far can these drivers go on a full fuel run here. And you see there you go, you got Teed there. He's able to just squeeze in front of Craig Forsyth, and he's going to be able to get himself ready for his pit stop sequence here. And so yeah, so it's one more spot now for Ryan Kelly. He's going to have to try to find somewhere to slot in that number 33 machine. And this is going to be an opportunity as well for those that are a little bit better on fuel, where maybe once you start seeing the field start to kind of all file down to the inside line, you stay up top. You, again, there's speed-wise, there's not a lot you can change, but at least you know the inside is going to start stacking up. You try to make some momentum shifts on that outside lane. So I think that's one thing we should expect to see from these drivers here. And you can see right now it does look like the pace, I want to say the pace is slowing down, but I do feel like the drivers are starting to give themselves a little more room to play with here. So we'll be keeping an eye still on them. And like I mentioned, Jim Herrick right now, the furthest up of those that did pit on lap number 5. The next to be Frank Irwin Jr. here in that number 44. And he's in a nice little pocket on the inside line as well. Again, though, he was one that had to burn a little extra, catch the front pack as a little earlier on. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on him. But like I said, this was the original scheduled fuel distance, about 38. We had that quick yellow early on, so that'll probably give him that extra lap or two. But I would expect to see Edson probably having to come in shortly. And that's where myself and a lot of these drivers are going to start to hold their breaths collectively, because it's, again, this is definitely the danger point of this race, is just trying to get all these 26 drivers in and out of pit road safely. You can see Ryan Kelly, he's gotten to the side pod of Edson Santos. If he's lucky, maybe he can go one extra lap than Edson, and he's going to slide in right in front of Matt Wagner. That was the best case scenario for that 33 car. So now we'll watch to see, are we going to see any takers here coming through 3 and 4? And the answer is no, not yet. So we're going to start lap number 40. No pit stops yet. Again, 150 lap race. So again, the field number is going to be big to me. If anybody can go to lap 50, if they can go to a little further than 50, I wonder if somebody's going to be able to pull off some strategy, maybe cut a pit stop out of this race. That's going to be what I really want to see here. But I'm starting to see a lot of separation being made, and I think we're going to see pit stops right here. And yep, Ryan Kelly's going to be the first to try to hit pit road. And let's see if he's able to get in. He made pit road, but I'm going to say probably too hot on entry. And again, it's just a terrifying position to be in, having to try to slow down in front of the entire field. So we'll wait and see for Ryan. We'll see how long his pit stop was. But again, though, this window is pretty much starting to open for everybody. I would expect the end Edson probably in very shortly. That said, I'm very impressed with the just how far Edson's been able to go on fuel while leading this race. So big props to him. And yeah, I can tell you right now, Ryan Kelly did get a speeding penalty as he still sits on pit road. So that's going to be about a 40-second hold. So he will go probably, I think, at least 2 laps down once the cycle completes. We'll keep an eye on the timing and scoring there. And as I say, here goes Matt up top. Here comes the pit for Edson. He's going to try to get woed down in time. There's the commitment cone and speed limiter. And I'm going to say job done for Edson. I think that is a good pit entry. I don't think we see any penalties on that one. That's going to move Matt Wagner now to the point in that number 6. And this is starting lap number 43. So again, still about 7 laps short of that the 1/3 mark of this race. As now Craig's starting to peek to the outside of Matt Wagner. Do we see any other pit stops coming? And yes, we will. We'll see Will Stearns on pit road. Bill Cawley was in as well. So pit stops are starting to form here. And again, this is where we're going to have to stay very aware, basically, of these drivers kind of coming in and out of pit road here. So all these guys going to continue on further here on the fuel. So again, can anybody or how many possibly can make it to that lap 50 mark? But again, though, that would be still including Yale. You see Ryan is going to get it looked like nicely woe down. He gave me a hard time a little bit earlier about his missing pit road. And so hopefully we were able to catch a nice clean entry for him. Bill Burrell actually came in along with him as well in that 21 car. So like I said, they're starting to happen here a little more and more frequently. Coming around, start lap 47 now. Do we see any takers yet? Not up front, but here we go a little further back. Man, look at these entries there by Daniel Durazo and Eric Peterson. That was close quarter racing, bringing Joseph Morales in as well. So Peterson was one of those guys I talked about. He pitted at lap 5, and so he's been able to be aggressive, though, and that's going to cost him the fuel mileage. So now we wait to see again. I see Craig jumping around. That is Matt Wagner. Matt Wagner's going to come in. He's going to bring AJ Hobson in as well. And so this is coming to lap number 47. As now Craig Forsyth now takes the point. And you see right behind him Ryan Kelly. This is big for Ryan. If he can unlap himself, because if there were to be a caution coming out, you want to get at least one of those laps. Right now you can see he's showing 4 down. But again, though, the cycle has not yet completed on pit road. And here you go, Craig starting to woe it down here. Ryan does get around him. Oh, we got a little bit of a bobble in the back there. That was Sam Cosner. I don't know how Sam hung on to that thing, but now he is on pit road. This is definitely by far the biggest group of drivers on pit road. Forsyth, Heisong, Schaus, Cosner, Laverne, and Jabot all coming in. So now that's going to cycle things now to Jim Herrick, Frank Irwin Jr., Wayne Campbell, John Borst, and Larry Yingling. These are the 5 that have yet to pit. And Jim Herrick right now, he's going to come around. Here you go, lap 50 in that number 40 car. Again, Jim, one of those that was involved in that earlier incident with Eric Schaus. But he is going to start to burn fuel as he's now leading. So now you look at these guys that are able to save off one another. You look at Frank Irwin. You look at Wayne Campbell. You see Frank there kind of cutting down to the apron. I think that's him signaling, hey, hidden pit road this time. So expect to see him cut left. Yep, here he comes. And he is also going to be joined by Jim Herrick, who we had just mentioned, as he's going to woe it down there for his entry. And so that's now going to put Wayne Campbell to the front. Behind him, John Borst and Larry Yingling. So these 3 drivers are stretching that fuel mileage. Will it be enough, though? Because again, I'm going to keep harping on it. They did have that caution to work with. So the further they can go, the better here. We'll see. Can Wayne go another? No, he is going to come in. But John Borst, Larry Yingling, yet another lap being added on. And for John, he's going to steal some draft as well, possibly off of Ryan Kelly. So we'll wait to see here. But again, these are now the last 2 that have not made their final scheduled pit stop. And so we'll wait and see where they cycle out in this one. All right, here comes 86. Here comes the 67. They are coming in together. And it looks like nice, clean entries for both. No speeding on the pits. So now, again, the big question mark will be, where do they cycle out with the field? Now we look to those that did pit, and here you go through the cycle. It is still Edson that hangs on to the lead, but he pitted a whopping 6 laps before Craig Forsyth, and now Craig's able to go pretty much back to fuel save mode in that number 99 car, I would suspect. Charles Teed, a great entry and exit. He jumps out in 3rd. AJ Hobson right there, still Eric Peterson. So unfortunately, I'd say the one that got the worst out of that is probably Matt Wagner. He's fallen back to about that 10th position. So, but yeah, like I said, the pit stops are completed. You see the 86 rolling out of pit road. I saw the 67 as well as they start to build up speed. Well, the crucial thing for them right now, they need to be able to merge with this main pack, and I think job's going to be done. John's going to merge in right behind Frank Irwin Jr. And so, yeah, so right now, like I said, fuel-wise, advantage goes to the 86 and the 67, but I was going to say the 42, but actually he's lost a lot of track position on that. He pitted 1 lap before them. So, yeah, so of the front runners that made it to 50, Frank Irwin Jr. pitted on lap 50, Jim Herrick pitted on lap 50, and then you had John Borst, Larry Yingling going to 52. So now the question is, we'll see how far, if we stay green, of course, knock on wood, if we stay green, can they get to lap 100, or how much further through lap 100 can they get? That's going to be a big, big question, because again, you can see we're back to this giant pack here where it's very difficult to make moves. And again, some of these drivers like Craig Forsyth, he was only 2 laps short. Sorry, actually, no, I'm sorry. He was 4 laps short of them on fuel. So can Craig go aggressive fuel save here behind Edson, possibly to try to see how far he can string this out? So yeah, so it's going to be fun to see. But what we can do is, with everybody kind of being in kind of lockstep here, let's run through the field, show off our wonderful drivers and their beautiful paint schemes. Leading off with Edson Santos and his Leaner Energy number 20 machine. Started on pole, still up front. Behind him, Craig Forsyth started 4th in the number 99 car, now up into 2nd. Charles teed up 7 spots into 3rd in his number 50 machine, Dark Horse Racing. Will Stearns right behind him in that number 306. And if I'm not mistaken, one of my buddies, Chad Cole, and Thomas George's favorite band, but we'll let them talk about that later. And then right behind him, Eric Peterson on the outside line, also one of the Dark Horse drivers there, sitting in the 5th spot. Just underneath him in that Miller High Life machine is AJ Hobson. Again, glad to see AJ back over here. Eric Schaus on the outside in that number 72 Hot Wheels car, involved in that early wreck with that car right behind him. But Eric's worked his way up into the top 10, trying to get towards the top 5. Then you go back to Daniel Durazo in that number 2 Corona machine. Again, pace, never a question. Luck, always the question. So hopefully Daniel gets the luck he's looking for tonight in that number 2 machine. Next to him, the 40 of Jim Herrick. Again, you talk to the drivers that were involved in the incident. Nose to tail, it's just the way it always works in these. Jim right now showing in the 7th position. Behind him, 00 Sam Cosner. Sam up 3 spots from where he began. And then we jump back to our Bluey machine, and that is Jeff Heisong sitting in that 11th position there. And then just underneath him, Gary Laverne in that number 34. Really, I would say quiet night at the moment for Gary, which honestly probably is what he's looking for right now. Just wants to kind of put himself, log the laps, be ready for it as he sits there in that number 34 VOR car. Then right next to him is that, or sorry, right behind him, I apologize, Frank Irwin Jr. in that number 44. Again, he is one that went to lap 50 on fuel, so we'll be keeping a close eye on him. Shane Coker in that number 32 in the VRL machine. He sits in 14th position. Talked about Matt Wagner. I'm thinking Matt's dropped anchor here in that number 6 because he's now down to 14th spot. Talked about him being 10th a little earlier, so I think there's some strategy afoot from that number 6 driver. Then we go to the 21 of Bill Burrell, another one of the 40 Raceware drivers there in 15th. Then you got Chris Jabot in the number 87 car, right where he qualified as things run. And then we already talked about Shane Coker. Everybody's jumping around. I can't keep up with them all. We go to Hugo Galazzo in the VOR number 57 machine. Hugo with a great result recently as well, so good to see Hugo. And right now just kind of cruise control, I feel like, in that 57 car. And then we get to the first of those that went to lap 52. That's going to be Sean Borst. Sorry, I'm looking at Shane's name. I'm mixing up names here. I apologize. John Borst in the number 86 car. He is in 19th position. Again, first of those that went to lap 52. Next to him, though, Wayne Campbell went to lap 51, but had to probably burn fuel to get back to that lead pack. So we'll see how far Wayne can go. And then Larry Yingling on the same strategy as John Borst. I think these two are probably eyeballing each other. You see that right there? John had a close call with that green car. And actually, I think he's had to take avoiding action. He went down to the apron. And we'll go back. We'll take one more look at that one because that's cost John a ton of momentum here. And yeah, let me go back one more time. I apologize because you didn't really get a good look at it here. This is where you're going to see it here as he goes low. Yeah. And John has to take quick avoiding action to try to avoid the contact. And now he's got to fight the apron and the banking combo. He does get back up to speed, but unfortunately, you can see there's the gap. Just cost him all that track position and, more importantly, all that draft, because now to catch the field, he's got to burn fuel. He's got to get back up to him. So that almost kind of puts the advantage back to Larry Yingling in that number 67 car, where now he's been able to stay in that map 5 probably mode, saving fuel. John's going to have to go all the way back to map 1, catch the field, and then back the pace right back down. So tough break for John there. Then we jump a little bit further back. Bill Cawley right now in the 22nd position. And I think we've had something going on here. And yes, caution is out. As soon as I was looking at the timing screen, I think it is unfortunately going to involve, and Edson Santos. And I talked about the bad luck, and there it is. Unfortunately, Daniel Durazo as well caught up in this one as we were running through the field. He's going to try to force this thing, get to pit road, avoid the tow. Edson's going to be in a better spot. Gary Laverne also involved. So two of the drivers I've talked about just having quiet nights, not trying to be involved in things. Unfortunately, commentator's curse has struck once more. So apologies to all those drivers. So let's go back. Let's see if we can find exactly what's all gone on here. We're going to focus initially on Edson in that number 20. And you can see at this point, he's already actually been passed a little bit. So let's see if we can find where the change happens. Because you can see actually at this point, Edson's up on the top side. So let's back it down a little bit further here. Where did this pass happen? And here you go, actually. So you're going to see Edson. He either drifts up or he's opening up the bottom. I'm not sure which, but Craig says, yeah, don't mind me. I'm going to go ahead and take full advantage of that one. And so then that puts Edson in the middle 3 wide. And then we'll say it's unfortunate. It's not a spot Edson's been in at all this evening. And so as they come through the tri-oval here, slots in right behind Charles Teed there. Well, washes up and says, again, probably his first experience with the dirty air as well. And so you can see had that big washout there through 1 and 2. Able to get back to the bottom. Oh my goodness. Something happened to the number 20 car. As you can see, it just really abruptly slowed. And I can't even say that's a pit road entry slow. I feel like that's something happened. Although, it's hard to say. But unfortunately, the 34 and the 2, just nowhere for them to go. And, oh my goodness, you can see a little bit of netcode might have saved a few drivers here. Matt Wagner gets a little piece as well. But the 34, Gary Laverne, he goes up and over. And I think the craziest thing about this one is the fact that that car is still able to somehow drive. So that's going to bring the caution back out. I don't think we're going to see much on the strategy side of things. Looking back right now, it's like going to come back live. It looks like I believe pit stops have already occurred. Craig's going to still win that race out of pit road. So what we will do is I'm going to take a quick break, catch my breath, and we'll be back here on the one to go. So stay tuned.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, apologies to say it was a quick caution. We're back underway here as Craig is going to lead the field back to the green starting lap number 70. So yeah, sorry about that, everyone. We're checking things and it goes quick when you're doing this. So but you can see right now the breakaway, a little bit of contact, Teed and Forsyth. Oh my goodness. At the moment, it looks like Craig's going to be okay. I think that may cost, it's definitely going to cause him to toss about that car. I don't know if he's still just trying to feel it out or if he's got some suspension damage. He's definitely got suspension damage to the 99 car. He's trying to keep that thing in one piece here. But definitely something on the rear of that number 99 is broken. You can see he's just trying to will this thing to stay pointed in the right direction. Oh, man. And saying we saw the move there. Tito's trying to get around Craig. And I think just one of those things where it looked like the window was open for just a slight second, then it wasn't. And I don't know how Craig is able to still keep this car pointed the right direction. But the problem is he can't get down at this point to get onto pit road. So he's still got to try to limp this thing around a little bit further to try to be able to hit pit road to get that fast spread taken for that 99 car. So Just terrible turn of events for Craig, able to get to the lead. Caution comes out, puts him back in a normal pit sequence with everybody as well. And then unfortunate contact with Teed, which at the moment Teed looks like he's okay in the number 50 car. Like, so we're still focused on Craig, just trying to make sure that he gets able to get through here. This is probably now his best opportunity to hit pit road should he choose to. Or maybe now that he's in a bit of a opening here, maybe he can try to live it a little bit more. So that's a tough break for Craig. We'll jump back up front because indeed Charles Teed is able to get to the front, and so far looks like his car has been able to come out clean from that contact. So right now it's moved at number 50 to the front. He's got Will Stearns right behind him, then Eric Peterson, and then AJ Hobson. There are the four on the inside row. Sam Cosner in the 00 trying to lead the outside lane. So at this point, fuel strategy out of the window. There's no drama anymore. Everybody from here can make it one more stop. So from this point on, it's just basically, do you want to pit early? Do you want to pit later? So there is still some potential of fuel saving just to try to go longer in case of an untimely pit stop caution. So that's what these decisions are going to have to be made. Ken mentioned Edson is back up and running. He is in 13th position there, now up into 12th, running that top side, trying to get that track position back as we just crossed the halfway point on this one. Gary Laverne, you can see him down the inside. He's able to get his fast repair back and running. And then you can see here, look for Daniel Durazo. There's Daniel. And I believe Daniel may be the first car one down. Wait for my timing and scoring to update, but I believe is sitting one lap down. And actually, no, I'm sorry, two down. Ryan Kelly is one down in the 33 car, and that was due to the pit road penalty. So he still sits one down, unfortunately, as well. But up front, though, Sam Cosner has taken the momentum. He's gotten to the side pod of Charles Teed. We'll see if he can either, and this is one of the things, too, where maybe he can't completely clear the leader, but if he can get his nose ahead at the start-finish line, that's what these guys are going to be starting to figure out. Okay, can I have a nose ahead at the line to try to get the win of this race? So those are going to be the things that these guys are starting to look at. Where do they need to position their car? When do they try to make the charge if they can? So a lot of strategy is going to start to unfold here. But again, though, still one more pit stop to go. Window probably doesn't open for, I would say, probably another 25 laps or so. Again, they want to get to about, I would say, probably about, well, I think I heard full send is probably about lap with 38 to go. So if they want to stretch it, we can say 40. So pretty much around, let's say, lap 110-ish would be kind of on the outside looking in. So basically another 30 laps or so would be, I suspect, when we could see drivers making their last pit stop. You can see momentum starting to shift a little bit back towards the inside line. But again, though, this one's a tough one tonight because there's not a lot it looks like these drivers can do. It's kind of very track position oriented, which again is going to make the pit strategy all the more important for when you come in, what strategies you take, which at this point, the situation, I think it's going to be 4 tires of fuel no matter what. But if I'm in this boat, the way I'm sitting right now, I think you pretty much have to try to go as long as you can and maybe hope to trap pretty much the field a lap down in order to give yourself a ton of track position. So if I'm in this mix, especially if I don't have track position now, that's my game plan. I'm just full fuel save. Sam Cosner, Charles Teed, they're going to have to pit as early as anybody else. And so if you're maybe like I'm watching Eric Peterson. I think I could see him as being one to go a little further than the rest. Also looking at Jeff Heisong, he's got a pretty good margin to that number 904 of AJ Hobson in front of him. So those are some, I wouldn't say telltales, but things you could look at to see maybe that's when the strategy would come into play. What I can tell you is I'm seeing the polar opposite strategy being employed now. Larry Yingling, he was full fuel save in that number 67. He said, okay, I know fuel mileage out of the question. I'm going to try to find my way to the front. I haven't seen my buddy Ryan Kelly. Unfortunately, except for Ryan, he was up front. Unfortunately, he got that caught speeding on pit road, so he still sits one down. So Larry's going to maybe try to carry the torch for those two buddies. But again, also just, I got to say, I love having Larry and them here. And while we were focusing on Larry, we had a change for the lead here as Sam Cosner now going to take the point. So let's go back. We'll take a look at this pass for the lead. Is there any issue, or Sam just get a great run? And no, Sam just clears that number 50 car, and he's able to get to the inside line. So is maybe T trying to let Sam maybe pull the pace a little bit of this race? So we'll see. Against, like I said, do you want to be the first driver to pit? There's kind of that game of chicken on what you want to do. So it's going to be a tough balance to match. I do need to mention that Hugo Goulaz, he had a lengthy pit stop along with Bill Colley on the one to go on lap 68. Bill is off on his, or sorry, actually Bill's on the tail end of the lead pack here. Hugo is still on the lead lap, but unfortunately he is way off the pack here, about a half a lap behind. So we'll jump back live though, as now Eric Schaus is starting to make his move on the top side, just getting to the side pod as well of Charles Teed, but nothing doing as of yet, as Teed's going to still hang on to that spot. But I gotta say, I think there's some strategy being formed right now, and I think it's that of we don't want to pit super early, because I think that's what we're seeing right now is and you can see this is the first time we've seen the leading cars able to even drift up off the bottom lane here. So it kind of just shows you, and looking at the pace, yeah, the pace has dropped. We're in the mid 25 second bracket. A lot of these drivers, their best laps were in the kind of the upper 24. So I feel like we're probably about a half a second pace-wise off of what we would normally be. So I think there is some strategy happening at the moment here. So yeah, this is that risk versus reward gamble. You can see Eric Schaus. I think Eric probably isn't wanting to drop anchor as much as maybe we are. Again, this is just kind of what I'm looking at from lap times. I can't say for certain, but I think again some of these drivers are going to start to get a little antsier and say, all right, I know what's happening. I don't want this to be happening. I want to get back towards the front here, and this could be, again, if the pace has dropped, this could open the door. Maybe someone says, you know what, I'm going to take a gamble. Everybody had a clean pit entry and exit that last time by. I want to come in early and be able to just start setting fast laps and kind of jump the field, the undercut, if you will, where you pit before the other drivers and try to get that track position ahead of them. So it's going to be a balance here for what the right decision is going to be. As I say that, there's Eric there. He's going to jump to the inside of Charles Teed. Almost able to Sam Cosner. Can't quite do it. But yeah, I think Eric is ready to go. He wants to get to the front here in control. So at the moment, you can see Cosner is still leading. Teed has gotten back around Schaus. So now Schaus back to the outside line. And I gotta say again, this is very interesting. It's the polar opposite of what we saw a little earlier. Look at Will Stearns. He's trying to find anywhere to put that 306 car. Hasn't found a way through as of yet either. But yeah, we've got this field really, really spread out here. And again, still running in that mid 25 second bracket. I still think at this rate with what we're seeing here, I think you kind of go opposite strategy where I take a gamble. I say, as soon as I'm in my window, I think this pace has slowed down. I don't feel like this is the pace we saw earlier, just due to the fact that these drivers are kind of singling up a little bit. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe I just haven't looked at the lap times correctly, because to me it seems kind of crazy that we've been able to get the field to single out like we have. So we'll see. A track temperature, nothing crazy has changed. It's 91 degrees. Track time right now is 4:14 p.m. And so really the track should only get cooler as the evening goes on the race time. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But right now, really the only driver that's up front that started towards the front is Will Stearns. Qualified second, is currently running fourth. Everybody else has gained a handful of positions to be in the spot. Sam Cosner up 11, Teed up 8, Schaus up 8, Peterson up 8. Jim Herrick actually as well. He went from 7th to 6th as he's running right now. And then Hobson up 1, Yingling up 1 as well, and Chris Chabot up 7 in the number 87 car into the top 10. So for the most part, I'd say the top 5 pretty much are all drivers that have gained a bunch here. And there you go, Teed. He's going to try to peek to the inside of Cosner. Cosner couldn't get to the inside, but you can see Teed couldn't continue the move there, and he is going to get a little bit of aero wash. Sam Cosner going to continue to lead this race here as we are down to 55 to go. Again, I'm going to say at least 15 more laps before these guys need to make their, or before they can make their final scheduled pit stop and make it to the end. Look at Schaus going top to bottom. Teed's going to take the inside line. Where is Stearns going to go? He's going to stay locked onto the top side here. And surprising, it almost does seem like something has changed, because it seems like the track, the top almost is being better at the moment. I am honestly not sure, but what I do see is there is a gaggle right here. We've got 3 wide going, and I think with everything that's going on, it's really stacking up this mid-pack where it's almost dangerous for them at this point, because I don't think we're seeing the pace that we should be, and I think that's starting to stack the field up a little further back. So this is one of those ones where if you're mid-pack, you're feeling pretty nervous right now as things are running right here. Been looking for Edson. Edson's still right now sitting just outside the top 10 in 12th in his number 20 car. And so again, the other thing too is a number of drivers are out of those faster pairs, and you can see now Will Stearns, he has gotten around Charles Teed there. Eric Schaus now trying to work the inside around Teed as well. And so everybody's starting to shake up just a little bit. Here goes Stearns. He's going to try to get to the inside of Cosner, see if he can take the point. And Stearns will do exactly that. We'll see if Cosner's going to try to do the over-under at the line. It will still be Stearns up front though. And so yeah, so we'll see. Again, I'm very again, I apologize for harping on this, but I'm very intrigued with what's going on right now, because I think there is more pace in these cars than they're letting on. And so maybe the fuel's worse than I thought. I'm truthfully, I am not sure at all. But right now though, we continue on here. And I think it maybe is a fuel thing that's tight, because they all pitted around lap 67. It's a 150 lap race, so that actually is tight on fuel. So I think that's actually exactly what's happened, is I think these drivers are all fuel saving to just be able to make sure that they can get to that number. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. I had bad math earlier where I said everybody could safely one-stop it. That is the exact opposite. Basically, these drivers needed to make 42 laps in order to split this race in half. And so, yeah, so right now this is kind of a race of who wants to not lead. And so that's actually exactly what we're seeing. That's why I was mentioning the pace being a little slower, is because we've got the whole field knows that, hey, if I'm running up front, running map 1, everybody's just going to be saving fuel off of me. And so that's the last thing I want to do. So right now, yeah, we've pretty much got a fuel mileage situation going on right now with all these drivers just trying to make sure that they can get about, again, in my mind, they need to get to about 38 to go. That's 10 laps or so, 9 laps now. That's going to be the magic number for sure to make it. But I think we'll probably see some drivers maybe come in a little early, maybe around that lap, within about 7 laps with about 40 to go, so about 110. So I think that's going to be the potential window we may see from these drivers. But again, at this point, now that I have the numbers that I was trying to figure out, this makes exact sense. And that's why we're seeing exactly what we're seeing, where nobody really wants to race. They just want to try to be as far forward as they can, saving the most fuel they can, which I was joking with Charles Teed pre-race, is the fact that he is not a fuel saver. He does not like fuel saving. And so this is probably worse than going to the dentist for that number 40, or sorry, the number 50 car, where Teed is just, he wants to be up front, he wants to push, he wants to be aggressive, and he's just in that situation right now where he cannot, because he knows what's at risk, because he doesn't want to have to make that extra stop that everybody else is working on saving from. Do need to also mention Craig Forsyth is still able to hang on with the lead. Again, I don't know how, because it seemed like that car was completely broken. And here you go, early pit stop. And again, this is what they're trying to avoid. Sam Cosner is in, 45 to go. He will not have the fuel mileage to make it as it sits, at least not full rich fuel mileage. Maybe if he goes full fuel save map 5 type situation with the draft, he can. But unfortunately, absolute outright pace-wise, he will not be able to make it to the end. So he's going to have to try to cycle the pack, save some fuel in that number 00 car, And so we're going to start to see some more probably peel off in the short future here. And that's going to put AJ Hobson to the front here. He's going to sneak away a little bit. I think he's thinking, you know what, I'm just going to run away here, see what happens. This is my first race. We're a couple races into the season. Let me throw a wrench into these guys' plans. So 904 car, he's going to try to charge away a little bit in that Miller High Life machine. We'll see if we see any takers. I'm showing Will Stearns. Yep, here comes Will. He's going to hit pit road, and he's going to make his stop with 42 to go. Again, I'd rather, if you can go farther, you'd rather do that. And then the other thing you can see here is it has gotten very cloudy on the track. You can see how much darker the surface is. That's going to cool this racetrack off a lot as well. So racetrack's going to become a little quicker with this cloud cover as well. And looking right now, again, no takers this time by, but we are starting to get to that magic number, 41 to go here. So I think the next lap or so, we'll probably start to see the field start to slowly but surely file in. I can tell you that it was a clean stop for Will Stearns. Sam Cosner did have a lengthy stop. He was in pits about 12 seconds when the normal should be in the 8 to 9 range. So unfortunately for Sam, something went on for him. And looking a little further back, and here you go. Teed is in. That was close behind him. Oh, is Teed going to get woed down in time, or is he going to be mad about another potential pit stop speeding penalty? We'll wait and see. But that was 40 to go. So, again, now we're getting into that window where most of these drivers here are going to be able to go full rich to the end. Teed is going to be right on the outside window in that 50. But, again, if they're dropping pace right now, I kind of like where he is. Here comes Jim Herrick. Jim's going to hit pit road. He's got Frank Irwin Jr. behind him. And so, yeah, so from now on here, we're 38 to go next time around. I'm saying pit road window is open. Charles Teed has left pit road, so no dramas for him. Great job by him. Did you mention Craig Forsyth also has hit pit road in the 99 car? I'm sure fast repair taken for Craig. And here we go. We'll see. Yep, here comes a few more. Schaus is going to come in. Hobson's coming in. I think I saw Peterson sneaking in there. Oh, I saw in the background. That's Schaus way too hot. I think I saw something else going on when I was trying to switch around. But I'm going to say, unfortunately, it's probably too hot for Schaus. Laverne in as well. So that's going to now move Wayne Campbell up to the front. So now these are the guys that are just trying to save as much as possible. Again, if there's a caution that comes out, there's going to be a lot of drivers trapped a lap down here. So that's now the other strategy here. Chris Jabot, he's going to hit pit road. He's going to get it woed down. Looks like nice and clean for him in the 87 car. And looking at pit stops, waiting to see. And, yep, Schaus still sitting on pit road in 72. So that's going to be speeding on entry, unfortunately, for him. And now I'm going to wait and see once everybody cycles through where all these cars come out in relation to one another. Of those that have pitted, you see Wayne Campbell, he's wound down. We got a bunch of cars coming in together here. This is a cluster. And it looks like everybody's going to make it onto pit road. But that was a close call. And, yeah, if I'm John Borst, I'm okay with this. That was a terrifying-looking pit entry. He may be able to gain time on the rest of those guys just from how grouped they were here, as he's going to probably, I would assume at this point, come in this time around behind that number 2. And so, yeah, here you go. John's going to make his scheduled pit stop here. He'll be the last of those to cycle. Again, great fuel mileage out of that 86 car. So now we got to wait to see where he cycles out along with the others. Wayne Campbell's going to win the race off of pit road for those that pitted that last time by. And we'll see who's able to jump him. Answer is AJ Hobson. He is already gone in that number 904 car. He's in a really good spot here, actually, dangerously good spot, because he is going to be 1.3 seconds off of Teed. He's got draft from Hugo Galaz, but I think Teed's going to reel him back in here. So I don't think he's going to be able to break away. John Borst right now just leaving pit road, as he's been passed by a few of these in the pack too. But now it's all about, can you cycle around with the lead pack here? So then again, the next part is fuel. Can all these guys go map 1 to the end? Is there going to have to be any fuel save going on in this as well? And, looking at timing and scoring, Matt Wagner also caught speeding for his pit entry. That drops him back down to 22nd as well. So he and Schaus both got caught there on entry. And so right now, this is our leader, AJ Hobson, and he's got about over a second lead over Teed. Peterson's right there. Jabot, a great pit stop cycle for him. He is up into the top 5. He's got Jim Herrick right behind, or I should say right underneath him. And then Will Stearns, Gary Laverne. So right now, the top 7 are the breakaway pack, as they got about 2.5 seconds on Craig Forsyth's pack. So right now, this is the top 7. This would be the battle for the win. Now we look at the important thing, and that is the pit stops. When do they pit? Hobson 112, Teed 110, a little worse on fuel. 112 for Peterson. Lap 113 for Chris Jabot, so a little more fuel. 1 extra lap of fuel for Chris over Peterson. Gary Laverne 112. Jim Herrick 111. And then Will Stearns was at 108. So Will is going to have to go full fuel save in my opinion. But really the best of fuel in this pack is going to be the 87 Chris Jabot. Can Chris do something with it? As up front, Charles Teed's going to take the point back over from Hobson. And this may not be what Teed wants. Teed, again, well, he bid it at 110, so he's actually 2 laps less fuel than Hobson, than Peterson, 3 laps less than Jabot. But lap time-wise, though, these guys are doing work right now. They have about 3.5 seconds from Will Stearns back to Craig Forsyth, and it is a gaggle behind Craig Forsyth. He pitted at lap 111, and you can see right now, and I think we're in the same boat here now, where what do you do? I mean, there's only so much you can do to try to make time here. You run low, you try to make all the pace you can. And then for Craig, the other question mark for him too is, does he have the field to get to the end? You see John Borst, we know he's easily going to feel, he's going to try to rim ride this thing around these guys, because he says, man, if you guys got to save, I can map 1 this thing all the way to the end. So it might be more advantageous if we take the lead. As we're going to jump back to the front, because you got Teed and Jabot fighting for the lead at the line. Chris has it as we are down to 29 to go. So still 30 laps to go in this thing. But again, we talk about track position. Looks like Chris will clear that number 50 car. So put the 87 to the point here. Coming to 28 to go next time by. And again, Chris pitted at lap 113. He is the latest of those drivers that pitted in this main pack. So I feel like the 87 car may be good on fuel. So let's watch him and see what he can do. Are they going to have to save off of him? You know, at some point they're going to try to make a move, but we've talked about painting that white line. If Chris is good to go map 1 to the end, he just needs to paint that line, make it as hard as possible for these guys to get around him. So, but again, though, still 28 to go here. A lot's going to happen. Drivers are going to get antsy, and so we'll have to wait and see. As talk about drivers getting antsy, you can see right here in this pack here, Craig's still holding the bottom. Frank Irwin's next to him. They both pitted at lap 111, and again, I'm going to keep harping on it. Wayne Campbell pitted at 114, John Borst 115, Larry Yingling 114. So you just wonder, do these guys have the fuel or not, or are they having to try to save while trying to keep the track position? And I feel like that's why we're seeing some of these drivers able to maybe try to charge a little harder, but unfortunately, right now these guys again just completely trapped. And again, this isn't like NASCAR where you can try to bump draft or anything like that, tandem draft to gain speed. So it's really just, at the moment, I think for Craig, it's going to be his job just to try to hold as steady of a wheel as he can to try to pull this group back in, which is still sitting at about that 3.3 seconds from Craig to Will Stearns here in that 306 car. So again, the one thing now that drivers like Charles Teed have going for him is now he can probably do some fuel saving behind the 87 of Chris Jabot. Similar, I feel like, for Jim Herrick. Will Stearns just needs to be full on fuel save in that number 306 car. Again, he pitted at 108, 5 laps before Chris Jabot. So this is, again, these are the numbers where I'm watching to see Peterson there and Herrick get really close together through 1 and 2. But again, I mean, that's me right now. Is I'm going to be living on the field numbers, and lap time wise, I mean, everybody's just doing everything right. Chris ran a 25:59 last lap. Craig ran a 25:54, only 0.05 of a second difference. And there's just, like I said, there's not really anything you do. This isn't a track where you can really swap draft that I'm aware of. So yeah, so unfortunately, some of these guys that maybe feel like maybe they don't know if any of these guys can make it on field. See Irwin there and Forsyth really close to each other. They're at a 2, but you don't know. Are they fuel saving? Are they holding me up and they just got the preferred line? There's so much going through the heads of these drivers here, which I'm sure some of them probably frustrated. But again, I mean, that's just the timing of the caution, and the track combo also pretty tricky to do. So and that's what we're seeing still as we run right here is just the second pack. I mean, you've got from 8th to 17th in this pack here. So, I mean, that's the other part too, is you'd rather finish 8th than 17th. So there's also going to be that aggression to try to find a way to get to the front of this pack. But as I've been talking about, is right now just it seems like it's very tough to pass. There's not a lot of opportunities here. The only opportunity might be a very aggressive move. So, and that's where you just gotta, track position is all about getting in and out of pit road as fast as possible. And that's what we saw those guys up in this front pack able to do, as we are down to 20 to go as the 87 of Chris Jabot continues to lead. And then again, watching lap times, Craig and Chris pretty much on the dot, 0.02 of a second apart once more. This time Chris was 0.02 quicker than Craig. It was a 57 to a 59. This time by Chris runs a 60. Craig's coming across the line now. He is going to run a 62. So again, advantage still sticks with that number 87 car up front. So right now, like I said, you're kind of a rock and a hard place. There's really not a lot you can do. If you're good on fuel, you're going to be map 1 regardless. If you're not on map 1, you're probably, hopefully not leading the pack. And like I said, I feel like the guys that pitted when they did, probably safe on fuel. Like I said, I think 38 was the magic number to go full rich to the end. So I think the majority of the drivers were able to do that. I think we talked about Teed being one that pitted 40 to go. But I mean, I look at Chris Jabot, he pitted with 37 to go. John Boris pitted with 35 to go. 36 to go is Wayne Campbell. So I feel like those guys are kind of playing with house money, if you will, as that was close there. And that's gonna be the stuff we're gonna see, is there's gonna be eventually those desperate moves where I gotta find a way around. So this is now for Chris here. He can see the guys behind him. They're going to start to get antsier. They're going to start to pinch him a little tighter through the turns. He can't open up the white line because you just saw AJ Hobson. He's going to try to take that spot away. So Chris needs to do is he needs to make sure he's painting that white line. If he drifts off of it, it's got to be not enough to let another car around him. So he's going to have to try to do everything he can. He's got to protect here the remaining 16 laps. But as I said, that caution is out. And it looks like, unfortunately, it's going to be Edson Santos. Oh, it is involved, and that's going to be night over for him in that 20. As we know, he already had a fast pair that was taken. So let's go back. Let's try to hunt it down here. And again, that was probably just the antsiness of trying to, I'm going to assume here, but I'm guessing probably just wanting to try to find a way to get back to the front here. So we'll focus on the 20 car as they come through the backstretch here. And so they may have gone too far back, but we'll just keep it at speed to see if we can catch exactly how it all occurred. Oh, and you saw right there, actually, just Edson, honestly, just a victim there, I feel like. And so you're going to see the middle 3 there, and I think that is Shane Coker in the middle here. And I think it's one of those situations where, oh yeah, it goes a little low. I think maybe kind of gets himself nervous. He tries to react to it, and then Edson just in the wrong spot. That just puts him up into the outside wall, and that point for Edson, nothing he can do. And actually, I just saw with him someone else involved just ahead of him. Which car was that? Trying to get a better shot of it. It was Sam Cosner. Sam had such a good run going. He had led a bunch of laps early. So that's going to put us back under caution here. We're at 14 to go now. I can tell you that a handful of drivers did pit. Jeff Heisong, the first of those, it appears. But it looks like the winner off of pit road is going to be Larry Yingling, opting to try to throw some tires on, see if he can work some magic. And I believe Hugo Galaz is going to be the driver to get the wave round back on the lead lap, which will unfortunately leave Ryan Kelly and Matt Wagner both trapped one down there. You can see them. And so what this will do is we're going to restart this thing with just outside of 10 to go. Again, there are no green-white checkers here. This caution will probably throw everybody into a fuel window from here to make it no dramas. And so, yeah, so now, again, Chris did the great job in and out of pit road, able to get the track position and get to the lead. And now he's going to have to be very aggressive here. He's going to, like I said, he's going to have to get a great restart. This is where the leader is the most susceptible for overtakes, is because they'll get those big runs on them and drivers can try to see if they can jump around them. So this will be a tough one for Chris. I say again, new to the league this season. I've raced with Chris for years on end, mostly on the stock car side of things, not on the IndyCar oval side of things. So this is going to be a little bit of a learning experience, I feel like, for him in this situation. We've seen him have pace, but now this is where your stress is just at full song here. So we'll see what Chris can do. He's going to have a very hungry Charles Teed and AJ Hobson, Gary Laverne, Jim Herrick in the top 5. But then you got the guys that are now back in the mix. Add Craig Forsyth, Frank Irwin Jr., Wayne Campbell, John Borst. All of those drivers opting to stay out. Sam Cosner, I believe, is the first that hit pit road there. And then Larry Yingling under that caution as well. So, like I said, so now Chris letting the pace car get away. He is our control car. And so basically, once that pace car is off the racing surface, he has control to go as early or late as he wants. And that's going to be the tough decision he has to make, because, again, if he gets too good of a jump, that could allow that number 50 to get a good momentum around him on the outside. So, like I said, Chris is going to have to paint that white line. They come through 3 and 4. And he's waiting now. He is down and away. Nice clean start for him. We'll continue to watch through the field. And it looks like everybody able to get a nice clean start here. So we get back to green here. 12 to go there at the line. Saw Peterson there taking a peek under Herrick, trying to get into the top 5. And for the moment, Peterson has a spot and he will clear. And there goes Chris. He's going to protect the inside just like we talked about. And I think the timing was perfect there, because Teed could not do anything before they got into 3. And so now the momentum is starting to shift now, where now it's going to be all about side drafting, how tight the 50 can pinch the 87. And I think I talked about, you may not want to pass the leader car. You just might want to get your nose ahead of him at the ideal time. Obviously, you want to aim for the for the checker flag. But again, though, no green, white checkers. If a caution comes out with 3 to go, it's going to be an official race. So you can't just sit and wait for the last lap charge. You're going to have to be aggressive pretty much from this time out. So, and we are 10 to go, as right now it is between Teed and Jabot for that top spot. Frank Irwin Jr. had the fastest lap. Now give it to Larry Yingling in that 67 car as he goes purple. And you can see everybody's starting to bring themselves right into the mix there. Will Stearns, he's going to try to run that 3rd lane, even 4th lane even. As you can see, the 34 almost contacted the 36 there. Oh, man. Peterson just in front of Forsyth there. And this is going to be the fear now, is you've got such a cluster. We've got one down on the apron there. Is he going to hang on to it? I think Wayne did hang on to it there. Again, probably a bit of a heart and throat moment there for John Borst, having tried to react to that. And you can see Gary Laverne, he's going to try to peek to that 3rd lane in that 34 car. But right now it's going to stay with the 87 and the 50. At the line, you can see nose cone ahead for Chris Jabot here. 8 to go. Continuing the purple laps, Jeff Heisong now ran the fastest lap of the race, 24:41. And, I mean, the leaders aren't that much slower as a 24:49 for Jabot and Teed. So, I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of a second between these guys. As right now, again, it's nip and tuck right there. Right now, Teed's got just that nose cone ahead. You can see the 3rd lane starting to try to form. Look at Craig really rim riding in there in the 99. He said, all right, I got to try something else. I'm not going to do anything on the bottom. Let me go to the outside lane here. That puts you a little bit more at risk. Saw John Borst try to get a peek underneath Eric Peterson there through 3 and 4. Couldn't quite do it. He's got to stay committed now to the inside line, as he's got the 44. He's got trouble in the back there. That was, I believe, the 67. I saw Larry Yingling. It was. And then I think, it's Jeff Heisong was the other. I saw a blue car involved. It was Heisong as well. So caution back out. We're at 6 to go. We should still get a restart on this one. And remember, I talked about having the nose ahead at the right time. I think at the yellow, it is Charles Teed had a nose ahead. We'll go and we'll look at that as well. But let's go back and we'll check this contact with Yingling here and see what exactly happened, as I believe it's going to be the 67 and the 18 getting together. And I'm wondering if maybe a little bit of an apron, or did we see something else that occurs here? Yeah, they kind of just find each other. I wouldn't say if one came up, one came down, but unfortunately they kind of meet in the middle, and you can see it launches that bluey car up in the air for Jeff Hysong, and then you see the the 67, and then oh my goodness, look at Hysong slides across the track. Oh, I think a little bit of luck of the net code for Ryan Kelly. Bill Burrell not as lucky. He gets a heavy piece of that one. But then the other thing we got to do is the time of the caution here. See if I can find when the caution was officially thrown, because we got to see where Teed and Jabot were at the time of this yellow. So I'm going to try to do here is we'll try to peek here. I'm going to try to see if I see the lights switch to yellow, I'll pause it as soon as I can catch it. As you see, as they come through 1 and 2. Right there at the time is when the lights are on. And from this angle, I'm showing Jabot ahead, but again, though, it may not be exact here. I say so. I might be causing drama, but it does show at the moment. It was showing Teed ahead of Jabot, so we'll jump back live because it is indeed Teed at the time of the yellow ahead. And again, in iRacing, I can't say it's exact for it, and I mean it's exactly what I had just said, that you can't wait till the last lap. You're gonna have to just do everything you absolutely can to try to get that nose ahead anytime you possibly can. So what we'll have here is we're not 1 to go yet, so we're going to get the 1 to go next time. I should be 3 to go, and we'll take the green flag with 2 to go. So while we may not have green-white checkers in the IndyCar series, we will have an unofficial green-white checkered, as we'll take the green with 2 to go, take the white flag, and then from there they would race it out. But again, though, with that being the case, if a caution were to come out before they take the white flag, field will be frozen at the time of the yellow, and that would be the official result. So we should see here is we should see Teed get the 1 to go off the pace car, and we'll see, yep, there we go, lights are going to be off of that pace car, and you can see that he's starting to roll back a little bit off of him. So this is the other thing too, is now this is where the strategy comes into play. He can roll off the pace car, he's got control. Does he go early? Does he go late? If he goes late, there's always that risk of the accordion effect. We've seen that unfortunately occur because drivers are going to get antsy. They're going to try to make those big late moves. So this is a really, really tough position to be in. The furthest up on tires is Sam Cosner. He is in the 11th spot. He has about 20 lap fresher tires than the rest of the field, but will it be enough to do anything with it? So you see Teed is definitely back to pace down now. Pace car is just about to enter 3 as they're in the middle of the back again. Exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Although I think I just saw some accordion effects in the back of the field here. So let me go a little further back because I think I just saw... it looks like everybody's pointing in the right direction, so that's promising. But I think Durazo, Coker, and Kelly may have had some contact, but... as far as I can tell, I think we're about to get going here once more. So now it's in the hands of that 50 car. Can Chris find a way to get back around him? He's going to have to try to get a great momentum run here through 2, I should say. As here you go, Charles Teed is down and away. Chris Jabot going to try to see what he can do as we are green 2 to go here. Teed's got about a half a second. Is that too much, or did he do this perfectly? And we'll watch off the rear wing here as we come through 1 and 2. Watch the momentum shift come to the number 87 car. Where can he get the run here? You know Teed's going to protect the inside. Chris is going to have to watch for Gary Laverne. Here goes Chris. He's going to try to get to the outside wing of Teed. As they come through 3 and 4, they're going to squeeze each other tight there. A little bit of contact, still able to stay unhooked off each other. We are 1 to go here. It will be who can get to the line first here at Chicagoland. Throw that number 904 to the outside. AJ Hobson into the mix as well. Contact in the back there. I think I saw, Peterson and who's that? Stearns up and over. We're tight 3 wide here as they come through 3 and 4. Right now, Teed still just got that nose ahead. It's going to be close between the 2 of them. Teed's going to take the apron. Jabot's going to run the top side at the line. It may be Jabot getting the win here. We'll have to wait for official timing and scoring, but that was beyond close. But as it's looking, the way the drivers are kind of putting themselves here, I think Chris Jabot may have just won this race here at Homestead. Let's go back here. We'll try to take another charge here through the line as we watch and see, because that was probably not even a nose cone difference between them, and I look forward to seeing how many thousandths of a second that was. But what a fight there that you could see. I mean, they were doing everything they could. Maybe even a little bit of contact, I believe, as well with the 87, and I think it was the 904, if I'm not mistaken. And so we're going to find a better shot of this one here. This will give us a great angle at it, I believe. And then we'll try to pause it just at the right time. So I'm going to see if I can find an actual start-finish line shot. This will hopefully be good. Oh, yep, there you go. Yeah, Chris Jabot by a nose cone is going to get the win here tonight at Chicagoland. And that is going to be a very happy driver there in that number 87. And, man, that's going to be... We'll see how Teed feels about that. I can see that being a bittersweet one. But Chris going to get the win here tonight at Homestead, at Chicagoland. I'll get these tracks right eventually. But let's go ahead, and before we get to those interviews, let's go ahead and pull up those final results, as it is going to be Chris Jabot. There you go, 18 thousandths of a second over Charles Teed. AJ Hobson bringing it in, and he's going to grab a podium right off the kick there in third. Gary Laverne, Craig Forsyth somehow recovers all the way to fifth. Frank Irwin Jr. there in sixth. John Borst able to get back up to seventh there towards the end. And then Jim Herrick, Sam Cosner, Wayne Campbell, top tens. Joseph Morales there, you can see again, stayed out of trouble, gets all the way back up into 11. Hugo Galazza, top 12 after him having get his lap back. Larry Yingling in that incident, somehow he jumps all the way back up to 13th. Bill Burrell, 14th. Jeff Heisong in 15th. And then Bill Colley, Matt Wagner, 16th, 17th. And unfortunately, we saw that incident drops Will Stearns to the 18th position. And then also you'll see in there Eric Peterson, same thing, 19th. And then unfortunately, a few drivers just couldn't get those laps back from incidents and penalties. Ryan Kelly, 20th. Shane Coker, 21st. Daniel Durazo in 22nd. Eric Schaus, 23rd. And then Edson Santos in the 24th position there after his incident towards the end of the race, unfortunately, as well. All right, let's go hunt down some drivers. So we're going to see if this AJ Hobson fellow, first see if he's here, and then also see, does he remember how to do any interviews? So let's go look around, see if we can find that Hobson fella. And good news, I've already found him. So we're going to start things off with the number 4/904 AJ Hobson. AJ, it's been a while, but it looks like you've lost none of your touch here. It's like grabbing a podium up front, leading laps, and there's a lot going on tonight. Fuel strategy, tough to pass. I mean, how stressful was it jumping into the mix at a track in a combo like this?
I usually like Chicagoland. I didn't expect it to be as bunchy as it was. Like you could pretty much paint the line down there, and for fuel strategy, just cruising map 5, and it wasn't too difficult. Just survive. The passing was hard. It was kind of hard to strategize a plan there at the end. Maybe get a move. So I tried to explore the high side, and it almost worked. It got me back in the podium though.
Yeah, saying this is one of those ones now where the other drivers are gonna be like, "Oh crap, is he back? Or are we in trouble? We have to be fighting with some more drivers for these top 3s, top 5s." So what's the game plan moving forward here, sir?
Well, any race I pop in, I just want to win. Obviously, I haven't been here a bunch this season, so I'm not in it for the championship points. I'm just trying to win some races and have a good time with the boys. And it was good to see Charles get a podium there. So 2 out of the 3 were dark horse cars. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the win, but I mean, I had a blast. I thought it was really good, competitive, close racing, and respectful for the most part out there today.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, in the situation like you had where it's tough to pass and all of that. I mean, to only have the 3 yellows and to have 2 green flag pit stops. I mean, that's one of those ones where, I mean, I gotta say that's I'm gonna say on, especially like for Craig, I think on the admin hat side of things, like, all right, that's a win in his books, I feel like, for sure. Yeah. But man, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a great run. It's great seeing you back on track here again. I definitely look forward to seeing you go for the wins, hopefully more often, if you're able to make more of these. But before we let you go and hang out with your dark horse buddies, man, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight, sir?
Yeah, shout out Area 51, putting on a good race as usual. And yeah, the dark horse boys, like I said, it's always fun to get in here, race with them, and strategize and kind of plan out together and work our way to the front and go at it the last 20 laps. So it was fun.
Great job tonight, AJ. Look forward. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully see you on track more. It was a great run for you tonight, sir.
Yep, we'll see you soon.
All right, we're going to jump one spot forward here, and that is going to be with this fella, Mr. Charles Teed. Teed, it was looking good. Let's say you got the lead before the caution comes out. You're probably thinking, oh, man, golden. That timing is perfect. And then just, I mean, it's a tough one to pass here. Obviously, we saw you could get the nose ahead at the line at the time of the cautions. And then just, I mean, it was an outright brawl, obviously, tonight. And I know first off, I'm sure you're happy-ish with the runner-up, but my first question is, how much were you just suffering when you had to do that fuel save stint?
Hate it, as you know, we talked about it before. So no, but I had no choice. So I was kind of bummed when there was the late caution because I don't think Chris was going to have enough fuel. I know he pitted 3 laps after me, but I was really having to save. So I'd be curious if he was going to make it. I mean, he had a good race. We were pinching each other down, racing really clean, and the better man won tonight. I felt more bad and sick the whole race from the contact with Craig. That was super unfortunate. I started to make a move up, and he moved up, and I was kind of trying to set him up, and I had already committed to going under. I need to double check the replay, but that's how it felt live. And so I just mostly was just sick to my stomach the whole race. But overall, lots of attaboys that I gave myself for not speeding in the pits tonight and getting back out and staying with the pack. And it was a fun race.
You made me nervous on one of the pit stops. I wasn't sure, but I was keeping an eye, and I saw you. You were, yeah. I mean, you sent it. I mean, you did what you had to do, and like you said, you kept with the pack the whole time. And I mean, I wouldn't feel too bad about Craig. I mean, he still finished 5th after all that, so he keeps the top 5 streak alive. So, I mean, if anything, you're probably doing some of the other guys a favor, like Edson having a tough night. So, I'll say they'll probably slip you a couple bucks here and there if you can keep giving them some grief.
Yep. I am really surprised, though, because I'm not an apron runner. I don't like going down there. I don't run NASCAR too much. And so it was not really where I wanted to be. But it was, I understand there might have been a little bit of a bump, too, with Laverne bumping into him a little bit, too, to give him inadvertent push a little bit farther ahead. But you could, if you had a run, as I did to him, get ahead of somebody at the line if you pinched them down. And it were not my night to happen, so tip my cap. But it was fun, and it was good to get back up here after dicking around with back markers for the last 6 months or so, trying to get the rust off.
Yeah, I think the rust was definitely shaken off there for sure for you. And so this will be a fun interview for me because I've known Chris for a long, long time, and so he's he's been doing IndyCar. This is the first he's been over here, so I know Matt's always loved the first time winner, so. This will probably be a fun interview as well. But Teed, man, like I said, I know we talked pre-race. You had mentioned you were mad about the gateway speeding because, I mean, same thing. You had a really, really good run going there. But like I said, you did everything right tonight. Like I said, and maybe it was just that one little teeny extra bump there at the end that got him just that nose cone ahead. I'll try to look at that closer for sure. Yeah. But a great job tonight, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to dedicate this to 2 people, even though it wasn't a W. It's the best I can do being an old man here. One, my dad's been in ICU for the last week and just got back home. So shout out to my dad, Gary. He's healing back up at home in Palm Springs. And a very good friend of mine, Eddie Pierce, has been running with us a little bit in practice, but dude had a really bad back surgery last year and he's recovering. And as soon as his back's well enough, he'll be racing this league with us. So Eddie, get your ass out here and race with us.
I'm really, really glad to hear your dad's back home, T. I know that's one of those tough things. And I mean, I gotta say that's where the leagues are sometimes helpful too, is it gets you kind of distracts you from real life a little bit, gets you away from the real world. So, go keep up your dad. Tell him the results you had tonight. And I say love having some more friends over here to race with. I know back surgery is not an easy one to recover from as well, but. Yeah, awesome job though, T. Before we let you go, I know you got some other people you get some love too, so definitely got to give you the floor, sir.
Yeah, really quickly, just for all the Dark Horse guys running with, it was nice to see Hobson have a really good run tonight, getting to run with Peterson as always, Schaus, and Haisong. That our group has been getting stronger and stronger, and the laughs we have in that Discord are, I guarantee you, we laugh harder than anyone else in any other Discord, so we're winning one way or another, and we'll go back and get him next week.
That sounds good. Yep, it's always, and that's the for me too. If even if the race doesn't go well, you can still get to hang with some buddies and cause some shenanigans. And yeah, I'm all in on that too, man. So, again, great job tonight, Teed. Look forward to see you go
buddy.
for those dubs the rest of the way.
Thank you, and tell your dad to hang in there too, Jim. You hang in there, buddy. I haven't run with you in a little bit, but get your ass out here and run with us too.
Sounds like I'll definitely relay it over to him. I'll put some pressure on him too.
There you go. Thanks.
All right, great job, Charles.
Thanks for the broadcast.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
sir. All right, we got one fella left to chat with. Let's go back to that final lap to get a good look at it here, as we're going to jump now up to that number 87 machine, the Dizzy Wrench machine of Chris Jabot. Chris, you went further than all that lead pack there on fuel. I felt pretty good. I saw you get to the front. It's like, all right, I think with as far as you went, you probably had the numbers to make it there. And then everybody starts getting antsy at the end. You get that late yellow where Teed's just a nose ahead of you. I mean, at that point, are you thinking, oh, damn it, that was my opportunity? Or you're like, okay, I saw what he did. I can try to do the same back to him.
No, I thought I was done. I was really mad when it gave him the lead, actually. My teammate had to calm me down a little bit over the radio, but it all worked out, I guess.
So then we go to the fuel mileage. Were you, if it stayed green, were you good to the end?
Oh yeah. I knew, so pretty much the whole race up until that last run, I was in map 5. I think most of the field was. And I knew map 1 I could get 37, maybe 38 laps for sure. Just full throttle in map 1. So that's kind of where I set my pit window. And as soon as I hit that, I came down pit road and knew I was good to go to the end.
All right, so then you get to the final restart, and I mean it's a gaggle. You have to jump up to get to Teed, because if you don't, you're under attack immediately. I see Hobson there. I'm seeing Laverne here looking back at the replays of this, and then obviously the charge out of 4. You've got a little momentum, but from I'm kind of watching back a little bit too. It sounded like you may have. I mean, obviously we race a lot on the NASCAR side of things. Maybe got a little bit of an additional boost there. Intentionally, oh yeah, they're right there off the nose there of Gary Laverne. I mean, did you go back and look at that? Were you able to see that little bump, that little boost you got?
I did, and I felt that, and I was worried that I came down on Charles or something coming out of the corner, and that's what the contact was from. But I got a 4X from the 34, so he got me pretty good, but that's for sure what boosted me out there, because I wasn't carrying that kind of momentum the previous laps coming out of 4.
I mean, it's probably one of the best 4Xs you've had in iRacing, I'm guessing. But I mean, it was a great, and like you said on the map 5 thing. I mean, it was a tough decisions on what to do, when to save. Like you mentioned, your teammate, we saw John. He was one that went really far on fuel over everybody on the fuel mileage side of things. But then, of course, when that one caution came out, it kind of threw everybody in a really awkward spot where I thought it was an easy one stop for everybody, but I started doing a little more math, and I was like, oh no, there's some fuel saving going on here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you did a great job getting in and out of pit road. That's not an easy task doing these cars with the guys that you've got here week in and week out. So, I mean, you did everything right, executed well, and then put yourself in position to get the win tonight, and able to finish it off. And it was really fun to see. I know we always kind of talk about, we love first time winners over here. I mean, you're only in race like 5 or 6, and you're grabbing the first one here over in IndyCar side. So you're making it look easy for some of these guys.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I wanted this one really bad. It felt really good once I got up in the lead.
Man, I'll say, like I said, I mean, I was all smiles watching you up there, and like as I said, you've got some of the big hitter regulars with you, so it was really fun to see. I was saying, talking to T, to say he was really excited for you getting the win as well. But I mean, I say I got to give again hats off, big congrats to you, and definitely as always give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening, sir?
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my team, Dizzy Motorsports, my cats, Big Norm and Gigi. And reason I didn't do a burnout tonight, a little somber. Learned one of my teammates had a death in the family. Literally, I learned that minutes before the race. So I'd like to dedicate that to them. It means a lot, and happy we could get it done.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure we'll talk at some point too, because obviously we've kind of got our little close knit family as well. So yeah, definitely giving him and the family all of our love, and yeah, we'll reach out. But again, I mean, like I said, it's kind of a solemn one, but at the same time, a great job tonight, Chris, and look forward to. I mean, I look forward to seeing you get some more times out here, go for more of these wins, and yeah, great job tonight, man. Go enjoy this one as best you can, I guess, of course, under circumstances.
Appreciate it, Kyle.
All right, great job, man. Congrats again. All right, that is our race winner in that number 87, Chris Jabot, getting the win. And I mean, and then saying you heard it right there from our top two finishers there. Charles T does say he's had some friends, family going through some stuff. Really happy to hear his dad's back home. And then obviously back surgery, nothing to write home about. That's a really big recovery. And then Chris, obviously, that's a tough one too when you have a friend and they lose a close loved one. So again, all of our love to his teammate and family and friends and everything. And then like Teed said, obviously too, just everybody's got stuff going on. It's tough. And that's why these leagues are kind of a way to get away from some of the stuff, to escape. And like he said, hanging out with his buddies. And even if it's a bad race, you're still having a good time with your friends. So that's what I love about sim racing. You kind of build that family, and we're dysfunctional. We have drama at times, but we're all here for each other. And that's what I really love about it. So, yeah, I'll say not to get all sappy at the end, but I really thank you all so much for watching here at Green White Checkered TV. I hope you enjoyed this one tonight. We'll have a little bit of a break here for the next couple of nights. We'll, just kind of a couple races off, so we'll be off on Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday, and should be back again the following Friday. Again, just with the longer season, trying to stretch it out a little bit into the end of the year. That way we don't have a big off season. But definitely keep an eye for more racing on with Area 51 at area51iracing.com. And again, Andrew, I hope you have a great time in your karting championship. I hope it goes really well. Look forward to hearing stories when you get back, sir. And then, yeah, everybody else that watches, supports us here at Green White Checker TV. Thank you so much for being a part of it, for watching, for supporting. And of course, as always, until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night.